Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, guys, one guy, anybody? Anyway, we're going to be doing a tier list of season 1 of American Dad. So we're just going to keep it by season per episode here, keep it digestible. So I'm going to go over the tier list real quick that I made in Excel. So if anyone knows like a good, like easily downloadable, like drag and drop tier list, I would really appreciate that. Put it in the comments. That'd be great. So S tier, I consider that these are the episodes I can watch over and over and over again. Won't get sick of them. They are the goated episodes. A tier, these are classics, great episodes. You know, they don't quite make it to S tier. You could get sick of them if you watch too many of them. And B tier, these are good episodes. I mean, they're missing something. They don't have, you know, that extra bit to get them in A tier, but they're solid. C tier, they're not good. They're not bad. They're just kind of there. They're good to have on in the background when you're doing something. D tier episodes, this one's just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff for me. They could be annoying, they could be kind of lame, they could be like pandering if they're doing a political issue that's just not interesting to me. I mean, I don't know. And then we have F tier. F tier is, I am just straight up frustrated. I even watched it this week. It was a waste of my time. God forbid you watched it when it came out on TV and you had the commercials too. It's a waste. I will say there are not going to be many of those. I've gone through most of the seasons already and kind of made a decision. There are not many F tiers. I love American Dad. I think it's the one going strong still right now, in my opinion. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just on the Wikipedia. I'm just going to read the brief description of it, kind of remind everyone what these are, especially the older ones. I didn't remember all of them immediately either. Alrighty. First, the pilot, of course. CIA agent Stan Smith helps his geeky son Steve get the attention of a cheerleader by rigging the student council elections in his favor. Wow, the CIA rigging an election. That's never happened before. Meanwhile, Roger, the alien, gets angry when Stan's wife, Francine, cuts off his junk food supply, fearing he might be getting fat, and turns to helping Haley, who is currently in community college, and finishing her term papers in exchange for sweets. You know, I don't love this one. I mean, it's okay. I think Stan's bit's all funny. I mean, look at that picture. That's hilarious, man. It's a solid B tier. It's an okay episode. I don't have much to say on it, honestly, but we'll move on because the next one's good. All right, this one we got threat levels. After a deadly virus scare, Francine wishes to do more with her family and becomes a realtor, making Stan feel insecure and unmanly. That's never gonna happen again, guys, right? Meanwhile, Haley uses one of the houses in her mother's portfolio to set up a homeless shelter. Oh yeah. But fights over it with Steve, who initially wants to use the house for videotaping teenage girls flashing their breasts and gone wild, but later teams up with Stan to start a bum fight club. All good ideas, in my opinion. All good ideas. Obviously, Stan's is the best idea. I mean, Steve's is solid, but I don't think that's not really an IRL thing that's gonna happen yet. I mean, maybe not too many years from now when houses are literally impossible. Like, they're impossible to afford now, but I mean, like, the average price of a house is $1 million. Like, literally no one can actually buy a house. That, yeah, it might work. But the bum fights is brilliant. I think this is a really funny episode. It's got some good gags in there. I think A tier is very valid for this one. Good episode. Stan Knows Best is next. All right, what goes on in this one? Haley moves out of the house and into her boyfriend's van after having enough of Stan's harsh rules. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember this now. Meanwhile, Steve claims that Roger is his horribly disfigured burn victim sister in order to gain sympathy and ask out a girl to the school dance. Oh yeah, and he's gotta get her bra on a dare. I mean, I don't know, man. I never had to do stuff like that in high school. I mean, just talking to the girl in any grade was just the big deal. I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, this one's crazy. I like this one. But Roger annoys the hell out of me. He blows it for Steve. He gets way too involved in his characters and he just ruins it. And I would be Steve too. I'd be crashing out. I'd be like, dude, I had this locked down. We agreed upon it. I'm not only going to get the girl, but I'm going to win the dare. And then Roger blows it. Not to mention, this is a good take. Stan's trying to be a good guy in this one, you know. Keep Haley from, you know, being a stripper. And then Stan goes to stripping, of course, which is hilarious. But because of how annoying Roger is, it's just gotta be a C tier. That story arc annoys me, man. Steve just gets screwed so many times, and maybe about half the time he does deserve it, but yeah, he probably deserved it in this one for lying about that. That's pretty dark. It's pretty dark, but hey, Roger as a burn victim is brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. Alrighty, what's next here? Oh, okay, Francine's flashback. See, I thought a lot of these happened a lot later, but they were season 1. I mean, I feel like this is like season 3. And this kind of reminds me of the Family Guy one with the anniversary with Lois and Peter's on the golf course or whatever. Like, it gives me that vibe, and I like that one too. But for those who don't remember, after forgetting their anniversary, Stan arranges to have the last 20 hours of Francine's memory erased, but ends up doing 20 years. Francine thinks she's a wild and carefree teenager from 1985. Meanwhile, a popular girl will only date Steve if someone goes out with her ugly best friend. Oh yeah, Jewel, who finds a mate in a reluctant Roger. That's solid too. I mean, this is so real. I have seen some cute girls with just cute friends. I have, but it's pretty accurate. I'm not gonna lie. I think Toshi at one point when he first seen her, he's like, Godzilla. Oh my god. She is huge though. But I feel like in this one too, Roger, I don't know, man. She's pretty bad, but I feel like Roger could have taken the bullet for this, man. He's done worse. This is a good one. Obviously the main arc with Stan and Francine. This picture here, I don't get this, The thing is, he kills the raccoon he hits because he hits the raccoon with his car, right? It's not dead, but it's dying. And he shoots it. And Stan's pumped that he got to shoot something, and Francine's just happy, put it out of its misery and gave it relief and stuff, because he just picked her up on the side of the road. That's like their origin story, and then, it starts from there. He tries to recreate that, right? He tries to hit a raccoon, he misses it, it goes like right under the center of it, and then he just executes it. Just to shoot it. Oh my god, and she's all flipped out, and he's like, let the love come flowing in, and she's just out of there, man. I love Francine, old or young. She is hilarious. So, with all that said, C or B, I don't know. It's a weak B tier. I mean, I like it. I like their origin story. You gotta give it a higher tier, I guess, to find out what happens with Stan and Francine. Oh, this one, I forgot about this one. It's like a fever dream. Roger Codger. This is the one where Roger slips into a coma, and the Smiths think he's dead, and they throw out his body. And then while the family copes with their loss, Francine becomes an atheist and Steve disowns Stan. Meanwhile, Roger awakens in a landfill and journeys home with an old racist woman who thinks Roger is one of her elderly friends. Yeah, this one, I really like this one because, and this is why I like American Dad too, every character is so well developed and has depth to them. They're all really different. I like how they deal with it differently, and they do that a lot throughout the series. You got Stan's side, Francine's side, Steve's side, Haley's side. No one's a Meg. No one's like a super side character. And trust me, I love the stuff they do with Meg. That's not hitting on that, but yeah, I love all the takes. I love all the perspectives. It's not super memorable to me though, so we're gonna give it a C tier. Like, it's fine, it's okay, but it's not just fine. Homeland Insecurity. Man, this is a good one. Stan learns his new neighbors are Iranian and immediately suspects they're terrorists. Naturally, right? Meanwhile, Steve tries to discover any hidden alien powers. Or excuse me, did I say Steve? Roger tries to discover any hidden alien powers he may have, while Steve is left at the mercy of the Scout Rangers. Oh yeah. And Francine tries to reconnect with her neighbors. This one's hilarious with the Mamaris, and they just kind of up and disappear later in the series too. I wonder what happens with that, but yeah, Stan thinks they're terrorists. Francine tries to have a block party after Stan does racist stuff, and then he does more racist stuff. He's got them all locked up in like a barbed wire cage. Oh, this is when the Golden Turd saga starts. That's what I'm gonna call it. And because they're trying to do an ET thing, Roger and Steve, on the bike, and then they just kind of smash into the power grid, and then that's when Stan's electrified fence goes down. He's like, "Oh, it's a terrorist attack," but the Mamaris are right there, so the bigger terrorist cell. Yeah, and then Roger takes a dump back there. Yeah, I love that arc. We'll talk more about that moving forward, but This one's really good. I love all the jokes. I love that it's super applicable with the Middle East and stuff, which is unfortunately still going on today. Probably will be for all of eternity. But yeah, this is a really good episode. This is an A-tier episode for sure. And we got another good one coming up here. Deacon Stan Jesus Man. Yeah, I know what this one is immediately off the bat. Stan, wanting to beat his rival at something, volunteers to become a replacement deacon against him after the previous deacon dies. Meanwhile, Roger is going through his reproductive cycle and in the process accidentally impregnates Steve. Nice. This is funny. I like the way they go about that too. It'd be one thing to just have Haley get pregnant, which they totally could have done that. But they go the extra mile. They just doing it. You know what? We're going to make Steve get pregnant. It's like, that is even worse for Stan. And I love the rivalry he has with this guy. I love whenever Stan's in a rivalry, whether he's winning or losing. It is hilarious. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I think, what do we want to do with this one? I think it's got to be an A tier. Like this is a solid episode. We're going to give it an A tier. And then, of course, Steve passes on the child to the girl by the holding hands thing or whatever. I don't understand. I mean, Steve does get some girls, man. I mean, he does okay. Was this the one? I'll never forget it. He's like holding the girl's hand, and was it a transitive property of math? And he's like, I touched her hand. Her hand touched her boob. So technically, I touched her boob. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's how I go through life. That's how I do it. That's all I got. All right, then season 1 split up a little weird, but we're just going to go by the Hulu version here with the 16, so. Next up, we got Bullock's to Stan. Stan finds Deputy Director Bullock, his boss, starting a relationship with Haley. However, he cannot risk saying or doing anything about it because he's up for promotion at the CIA. He tries to make Jeff tougher so Haley will take him back, yada yada yada, plan backfires. Haley dumps Bullock and takes Jeff back, and then Bullock orders Stan to kill Jeff. Any episode Bullock's in is immediately elevated, in my opinion. I love Avery. He is so unchained. He is so funny. You never know what's going to happen. And then the side story for this one, Steve finds Dick Cheney's BlackBerry and uses the contacts and pranks political figures. Yeah, I think this is when Roger and Steve, they like call Pakistan and India, and they're like, screw you guys. It's like, or was that might have been Family Guy. That might have been Stewie doing that, like up yours. And yeah, that is Family Guy. And he's like, oh, that did not take much. But solid pranking on that one. I like the politics behind the Dick Cheney thing. But yeah, this one's good. I mean, this picture specifically, I remember what he's doing. Bullock's talking about slamming Stan's daughter, and he's like, okay, I'm definitely going to kill this guy. Like, screw this. And he's like, oh, yeah, we were just talking about your promotion. And then Stan just like whips the knife back. He's like, oh, that's totally chill. Everything's fine. So this one's pretty good. We're gonna give it a weaker A tier. Whenever Avery's involved, it's funny. Next, we got A Smith in the Hand. Upon finding out that Steve's school is giving a sex education class, Stan volunteers to teach a more wholesome and clean class himself. Oh, God. I remember this one now. Stan has never masturbated prior to this and teaches Steve that it is wrong. However, after a groin injury and having to rub ointment on himself, he discovers masturbation and he's addicted to it. Bro, they were gooning before gooning was even a term or a thing. I told you, man, American Dad is ahead of its time all the time. And meanwhile, what's Roger's story here? Roger turns the attic into a bar after Haley accuses him of wasting his life by eating junk food and watching trashy reality TV. Yeah, I didn't know the bar was this early. They really get on that, but the masturbation arc is hilarious. That video that he shows Steve with like the kids' eyes falling out like scrambled eggs, that is messed up. And I like they're trying to take this from a realism perspective. Like, this is how people were raised, and it's not gonna mess you up at all. But man, I remember throughout the whole episode, he's up there. I'll put the moan or scream in there. I'm not gonna even try to do it.
Where's your father? His dinner's getting cold.
He hasn't left the bathroom for 2 days. He just stays up there applying ointment and shouting.
They're just like, oh, Steve's like, he must be in so much pain. He's up there just cranking it 24/7. And then he finds out he's like cleaning the gutters and stands in there in his room or bathroom or something, just falls off the roof. Very solid, very funny stuff. I'm gonna give it a B tier. It's not A level, but that is a good story arc. I like it. Like, what is going on? What is going on with this one down here? It's like, is this a Star Trek episode? You got Steve in like a captain uniform, and you got a crewman in snot. What's going on? All about Steve. Stan discovers and is ashamed of Steve's geekiness and disowns him. Naturally, Stan. But the stress of this causes damage to Stan's body, causing him to physically revert into a nerd. When Steve breaks the code of the cyber terrorist, the two must unite to save the world, and Stan comes to realize that nerds can do macho jobs like counterterrorism. See, I love that ignorance about Stan throughout like the whole show. He just thinks Steve is this like jock, cool, popular kid, you know. He's just all that. I mean, Steve is a great kid and probably would be popular in his own right if he, you know, he does have some really nerdy tendencies that just really are a bit rough. But yeah, I love Stan's ignorance to that. On the side, Haley helps Roger to find a suitable way to interact with the outside world without getting exposed as an alien. So look at that. Haley is getting Roger really into the world. She's helping him get his disguises when it first starts and getting his ass up there and making a bar in the attic, keeping him busy. She really helps him. I didn't realize this was like all Haley. But yeah, it's okay. All about Steve, I mean, it's fine. Nothing too crazy about it. I like that Stan was an actual nerd and we get to find out about Stan's life. They always try to remind us of that. I'd give it a B tier. Con Air. After his father's death, Stan reveals to his family that the man they called Grandpa was not their grandfather. Meanwhile, Steve goes out with his pseudo-grandfather's elderly friend. Yeah, I mean, you get introduced to Jack, and he plays a big role, moving forward in the series in a couple episodes. And I mean, Stan just gobbles up whatever Jack tells him. He's, what was it, like the Scarlet Alliance or something? Like, absolute nonsense. And then they go rob a museum. I don't buy it. I don't really like this one. It's not good or bad. It's a C tier. It's kind of there. Obligatory because you get some info about Stan's life that's important. So, moving on. Stan of Arabia. Now, this is the two-parter. Look at how cute Francine is in her little teapot there. I think Francine is my favorite of the wives of these shows. I mean, Lois is cool and all that, but I think Francine's got the edge for me. She's just too wild. She's just all over the place. And Lois is too, I guess. But after doing a terrible job standing in for Jay Leno, who I think he like punches in the face or something for saying something to him, Stan is reassigned to Saudi Arabia. While his family, except for Steve, begin to go through hell, Stan discovers all of his greatest fantasies come true with the male-dominated society. Now, this is solid. This is just starting, to introduce us to like the Middle East and stuff. Like, it's still rather new, and unfortunately, it's still going on. So, very valid take, very good timing on this one. I mean, I'm just going to kind of collectively talk about him. I mean, you got Steve, who's having a fun time just driving the car out in the desert, chucking grenades and stuff. I mean, that's awesome. You can't lie. Any guy out there, most of us would be doing the same thing. I would be doing that. It's pretty awesome. He encounters God in the desert, who he finds out is a woman, which I don't really understand. I'm not going to get too religious, but God is omnipotent. God is everything. God is a woman. God is man. Limiting that to man or woman, I think, is almost insulting, but whatever. And then the Lord gives Steve, like, all knowledge or whatever, and he comes back, and he tells basically all, like, the Arabs and stuff, like, how to make peace in the Middle East, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm like, yeah, that's going to work. Why didn't we think of that? And then he says, like, he says she, her. They're like, oh, God's a woman? Like, that's not okay. And then, like, God has breasts, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he blows it. I mean, I don't know. They're both A tier, I gotta say. You got part 2, where Francine goes off, does her stupid musical number, and just gets naked in front of all the Saudis, which, that's so stupid. It's a cartoon, though. But then I love how they're gonna get stoned, and then Bush just comes in, and the helicopters in America is just like, democracy, hell yeah. And then they just save them. Awesome. A tier for sure. All right, wrapping it up here, we got Stanny, Get Your Gun. Stan and Haley attempt to bond, but things are difficult due to Stan's obsession with guns and Haley's stance against them. In the process, Haley herself accidentally shoots Stan and paralyzes him. Meanwhile, Roger wants to get back at Steve for eating his cookie by convincing him he is adopted, and later was kidnapped by Stan and Francine. So, I totally believe that story. I mean, Roger is devious. He's devious in everything, but this is bad. Over a cookie, man? I mean, Steve, he's valid here. Roger's like, he's like, you don't look like either of them. You don't act like really either of them, but he later does, I think, act more like them. But yeah, Steve could totally be adopted, I think. But the gun thing is good. I like political takes. I like political episodes. And this one's got good stuff with like lobbyist groups and stuff. And I think this one kind of almost parallels the what's the Family Guy one with the weed. And then Brian and Stewie, they do the song about it. Then they kind of reverse course. And they're like, oh no, weed is bad. Same thing with Haley here. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like that they use it again. But all in all, it's a funny episode. I like the commentary. So I think we're going to give it a B tier. It's a solid episode, to be sure. Next, we got Star Trek. A drowned Steve tells the story of how he became famous for writing a story about Roger the alien and how his parents exploited his talents to get what they want. Yeah, this one's okay. I don't remember very much about this one, to be honest. I did do a little refresh on it, but I don't know. I don't have much to comment on it. It's just kind of there. Roger's being Roger, getting all selfish about everything, that everything's not about him. And then Stan and Francine are also kind of doing the same thing, taking Steve's not even riding his coattails, just like stealing the spotlight completely. We're just going to put it in the mid-C territory. To round it off here, we got Not Particularly Desperate Housewives. Francine pretends to be having an extramarital affair so that she can join an exclusive women's club called the Ladybugs. However, Francine's life is threatened when she asks to quit. Meanwhile, Stan and Roger fight over the attention of an adorable little dog, and Haley locks Steve and Klaus in her closet for reading her diary. That, in my opinion, is the best part. Just seeing Steve and Klaus surviving in Haley's closet is hilarious. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one. Screw the whole dog side thing. It's not even a thing. It's not even real. But yeah, what's her name? This is Mamari or whatever with Francine. That's solid. When she's gonna get executed at the shopping market by the shopping carts. Oh man, jeez. And Mamari runs in there and just passionately makes out with her. And then he's like, oh, you're having an affair with a woman. That's why you won't cheat on your husband, because you kind of are with her. She's like, all right, you can get out of here. We have dirt on you. And then Ladybugs go. And then Francine's like, oh, that was a really good idea, faking, making out with me, all that. And she's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it was all like, just to save you. And she's totally a lesbian, which I think is really funny. Because they touch on that. And then, eventually the Mamaris just up and disappear and they don't use them again. So I don't like the episode that much. Like, just those moments are good. And then the rest of it is not worth really watching. It's a D tier for me. So season 1 overall, pretty solid stuff. It's a good start. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the ranking. We'll be out with season 2 pretty quick here. I've already got the old Excel sheet up here. I made it myself. So yeah, if anyone has any good tier list templates, I'd very much appreciate shooting that my way. But yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, see you later.